Greater good.
Oh my goodness. Oh, let's we won't repeat that for the folks. I mean, that was fun. That was actually really funny, Brian.
It
They say
was.
they say you can be funny.
They do. They
They
are
do.
correct.
They do. So, you were still in San Luis Obispo when we shot this yesterday, and I was so tempted to go ahead and put it up yesterday because it's so newsworthy, but I just have to have something for Tuesday.
Well, and
So,
that's true. I shared some stuff in the green room and you're like, oh, okay, well,
yeah.
still Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. All right. So you have been driving around on some kind of new full self-driving upgrade. I don't know. One or two people are talking about it.
So let's get into it. I'll just cut straight to the chase here. So when I was in Mexico, my full self-driving subscription expired. And I said, you know what? I found a hack. I get a free week because I'm not driving it this week. I'll resubscribe when I get back. So when I'm on the airport shuttle on the way to my car, I hit the button. I got my full self-driving back. I get in the car and it's like, nope, you got 12.3.6 still. But
Oh,
there's a download pending. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I get home. Nah, it's just bug fixes. For crying out loud. So I drive down 12.3.6. It does great. It does fine. It's, fine. And then Friday, it said, it's time, baby, 12.5. So I drive to a service center where I've got access to Wi-Fi because the Wi-Fi is too far from the parking spot. I download it. And then, of course, it's an hour to install. So I couldn't do it Friday. Overnight, I installed it. Saturday morning, I was like, well, I have seen reports from people who have said, people like Bradford Ferguson, who is measured in his,
measured. Yes.
well, when it comes to FSD, he is
Yeah.
very um, unbiased.
Yeah.
He's here for the analysis, not the hype. For other things, he gets very excited. But again, it all comes with Bradford. It all comes down to the actual analysis. He's jazzed as heck about Megapack because he's driven out there and sat there and counted them and watched the actual progress. So he knows what's going on. But with FSD, he's saying it's good. It really works great here. I've seen a few problems. I've seen a few hiccups. And then when 12.5 came out, he said, guys, this is it. And
He said it was like being driven by a chauffeur that it drove better than he does. Yeah.
yeah, but have you seen his driving?
Oh
No,
no.
just no. And the honest truth is, I haven't seen his driving. The only times we've ever been in a Tesla together, it's been driving itself. So I joke, of course. But so you know how I feel about these huge improvements. I don't believe it until I see it. So I get in the car, I set my destination, and away we go. And it is hands free. You keep your eyes on the road, but your hands off. And I've got my gang in the car, and we're analyzing it turn by turn. The dog is not helping, but she's trying. And the whole drive there was the lane changes felt organic, the turns felt organic. Uh, California highways can be aggressive. It matched the level of aggressiveness. I've still got the
What?
car in chill, but it sees a gap, it shoots it, we're in. And uh, and so the whole drive, we're like, this actually worked. Later in the day, we did another drive, this one through town, and people say, well, that's a highway stack. That's not new. No, it's still new. It's just not maybe what you'd like it to be. It's still different. It's still better. Later in the day, we did a second drive over to a restaurant and we come around the corner. I'm like, well, we have to get over 2 lanes in a block. And it finds a gap, shoots it, we're in. I was like, that felt like me. That felt organic. That felt natural. And since Saturday, I've probably done 10, 15 separate drives. I've probably driven 100, 150 miles, and it feels natural. I've had zero interventions
Zero.
over these 3 days since I've had it, and I've driven a lot on highway, on surface streets, in traffic, out of traffic, night, day, no interventions. I've suggested lane changes a couple times because sometimes I prefer a different lane, but this absolutely, at least here, feels very real, very organic, very natural. I had a comment on my video about it where someone said, well, Dylan Loomis tried it and it ran a red light. And I
Yeah.
said, that's funny. I was in Mexico a week ago and my taxi driver ran a
And
red
red
light,
light.
ran a red light. Wasn't dangerous. I certainly would have had I a pedal, I would have intervened. But you know, this my claim, and one guy said, well, this is BS. You're just BSing. Well, I didn't fake the video. It's a real
Right,
video.
right.
So and I didn't claim that this works everywhere all the time for everyone. What I said is this is a generational improvement because I had a chance to do a 12.3.6 here
Mhm.
and then 12.5. So I'm A/B testing at least on the same streets,
Right.
in the same neighborhoods, and it's not done. It's not perfect. This road is behind me is a dead end, and every time I go out, I go ahead and activate it, see what it's going to do at the dead end, and every time it gets stuck. It really gets there. It's like, boy, I really want to do something. It'll jiggle the wheel a little, but it will not turn me around and get me pointed in the right direction. But I'm still going to keep trying because it's funny. So then, yeah, it feels great. And I'm, as you know, now I'm embarking on another 1,000-ish miles to get home,
Yes.
and we'll see how it does. But it's very promising.
What will it take, in your opinion, now that you've driven that much? What is it really going to take? I mean, we know that we've got to get to complete. So we've got the reverse and we've got, you know, K, Y, U-turns, whatever. You know, we've got a few things like that to summon some of the parking, being able to pick your correct driveway to pull into, a few things like that that people are saying is just a matter of completing the deck, completing the entire
Right.
set. But other than completion, what are the things that you think are still needed?
So Tesla's not in a situation of desperation where, so need might be the wrong word.
Mm.
Want is the word. So there are little things like, well, when it gets to your destination, it'd be nice if it just auto parked, found a parking spot and parked. Last night, I thought it was going to do that. We pulled up. We're like, oh my gosh, it pulled over to the side and we're still going. Okay, I guess we left. Maybe the car's got another fare to pick up. I'm not sure. You know what? I'm going to disengage and we'll go back. I'll tell you one nice thing is when you get to your destination and manually disengage, it no longer says, what happened? Do you need to send a report? It now knows that you're there, you're at
there.
your destination. So yeah, it needs to transition to parking, you know, summon, reverse, of course it needs those. But if it was a situation of need, if for some reason this was the do or die moment,
Oh.
all they'd need is teleoperators to handle those, you know, 1 in 1,000 cases. And I believe that the fleet is of that the interventions are, from what I can see, are sufficiently rare that you could teleoperate for those lingering cases. It's not like Cruise where they had interventions every what, 2 miles,
Right,
3
right,
miles.
right.
That's insane. You cannot operate that way. Maybe Cruise was too ambitious going to San Francisco, but it was just a little crazy. So I think need is the wrong word. I think we can see the pieces missing. And to me, the big one that was missing was intermittent, dangerous behavior. And I'm only, you know, 150 miles in,
Right.
and only in one county. But so far, I have seen no dangerous behaviors, no disengagements. I haven't needed to nudge the accelerator. I've suggested a couple lane changes out of personal taste, but it is going good.
So you have a situation where Waymo and a few companies in China are already on the road with vehicles that are operating autonomously. All of them have somebody in a control room that is able to be brought in or is monitoring or making some decisions. So you're suggesting that right now, with only vision, Tesla is equal to those companies, or maybe better.
Absolutely better than most, equal to the best. It's, you know, the fact that you can make a level 4 or 5 vehicle operate with a teleoperator doesn't mean that your solution is the correct one to scale.
Right.
And maybe that's something where we still are going to need that for a longer period of time than we expect. From the time that automated switchboards for telephones became a thing to the time they were finally phased out was almost 100 years.
Wow.
Uh, they still had human switchboard operators into the late 70s in my
Wow.
lifetime, Randy.
Wow.
So and the technology existed. It just wasn't, the cost didn't always work out.
Right.
So yeah, it's it's right there. It's closer than it's ever been. And again, this is the March of Nines. That extra 9 is wonderful, but how many more 9s are left before we can say, okay, it works. It works without
It
any
works.
help ever.
It works well enough would be, I guess.
Well enough to me is still teleoperators. It doesn't need to
Okay.
work well. If there's no teleoperators, it just needs to work. One in 100,000 situations is probably in 100,000 miles is probably fine. But any more than that, and it's like, well, and what is that critical issue? Is it that it's stuck at an intersection?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it that it's stuck by itself alone on the side of the street at night? I have concerns that it still will say, oh my gosh, FSD may be degraded because one or more cameras is occluded. My friend, that's called nighttime. You can't see because it's dark at night. Stop telling me this. So that's something they'll need to address that.
So when you're talking about teleoperators, you're not talking about, I saw a video the other day where it was suggesting that whoever it was, I'm not sure which company, that they were limited. I think it was in China. They required that one teleoperator be watching 3 vehicles. So they were literally 3 screens watching 3 vehicles at all times, 100% of the time. That's not the teleoperator you're even talking about, right?
No, that's insanity.
Yeah.
3-to-1 is insanity. So so Tesla would need what, 700,000 of these people? Come on, that's well, good news for Wyoming. We found jobs for all of you plus the population of Tulsa. So that'd be too many. No, and yeah.
Would you be looking at a teleoperator that would be similar to the disengagement switch now? I mean, in other words, where the teleoperator would only come on or would only even care, it would only pop up on their screen when there was activity in the car, which would only take a fraction of a second for their screen to be lit up and say, I've got a car stuck in an intersection.
It'd be when the screen flashes red and says take over immediately.
Right.
That's when they'd need to pop in. I had that the other night on 1236 where it was very foggy and I was coming up over a crest with a stop sign at the top. And as it approached the top, maybe it saw the fog as a wall. I don't know what it saw, but it said, you know what? I'm done. And the question is, I think what it would do is just slow down so that the human operator has a little bit of time to see what's going on. But you can't wait in a queue for help in a situation like that, because what if it is a wall? I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're, again, just getting close.
Yeah. All right. That's very, very cool. Yeah, I think that's all that I had for right now. Anything else on 12.5 or anything on FSD that I've left out?
I'm concerned with the take rate. I'm concerned that not enough people did executed actual paid orders on the early demo of 12. And I think if 12.5 continues rolling out and is performing universally as it is here in San Luis Obispo, that another free trial may be coming.
Yeah, it went wide this morning, according to Elon. So I don't know whether that means that it will be on hardware 3 and hardware 4, or whether only hardware 4, but it is at least out wide this morning. So
all encouraging news to me.
All encouraging. All right. Thank you as always, Brian. It's great to have you on board. And for all of you out there, it's great to have you on board as well. It's been great talking to you.